Hey everyone, my name is Chris. These are my BMWs behind me. Today we're going to be working on the E39 wagon, and we're going to be installing and finishing timing most of the pieces for the motor to completely seal it up. I'm going to show you guys how we can use 5 bolts just like this to time the motor and no other tools, and we'll also be installing the Vanos. So I'll show you guys more details about the Vanos in another video, but for now, let's get right into it. Cool, so while I'm assembling this, something I wanted to share is that this motor is kind of peculiar in the fact that it doesn't use a traditional timing kit. So on the M62, for example, you'd be locking the camshafts in a certain position in order to get time with top dead center on the rotating assembly. But on the S62, they use a series of pins between the cam guides right here and the camshafts, and those pins keep the camshafts at top dead center, and then another one down here keeps it at top dead center for the crank. So I'm using M8 bolts, and those actually fit in really well. You can also use 8mm drill bits, but that helps us lock everything so we can install the timing chain and have this engine in time. All right, so now what we're currently doing is we're going to be installing the splined Vanos hubs onto the camshafts. And looking at the installation procedures, it looks like there was an update in the thickness of this supporting ring and this tension ring right here. And after 2001, these were made to a different thickness and installed in a different position. So it's really important that if you're putting together one of these engines, you make note of how everything should be going together. Also, you can see the wear on this ring around the outside on this side, and then on the inside here. So the correct for post 2001 engines is going to be with the B symbol facing back. But what's interesting is that although I measured these out and I found that they were thickness for after 2001, the motor that I got this M5 from was a 2000 model car. And so that leads me to believe that at some point the Vanos was replaced on this motor. So now that we've cleaned this, we're going to install it into the motor, and then we're going to check the thickness and confirm that all of these are updated rings on the other 3 hubs, and then we'll install those as well. So here's the status update. I ended up realizing that the timing chain wasn't correctly routed behind the lower timing cover. So I had to remove the water pump, the crank pulley, and the lower oil pan to get the bolts on the bottom and pull the timing cover off. At that point, I installed the gears up here with the timing chain on and tight and routed correctly. And then the timing cover was a lot easier to install. So then installed the timing cover, put everything back. I ended up wrapping a little bit of tape around this bolt here so it centers in this alignment tool, and then reassembled the bottom end, the lower timing covers, and then the upper timing covers, and added the Vanos, and all of the Vanos is in the correct position, and the camshafts are still aligned, and the crank is at top dead center. So here's where we're at on the motor. We've got the Vanos units installed. The engine's fully timed. The timing chain tensioner is in. I went ahead and turned the engine over to tighten the Vanos bolts on the backside, and then turned it over 2 more times, and the engine is in perfect time, it looks like. So BMW gives you these visuals right here. I'm not sure if you're able to see that, but those have markings in them, and as long as those all align, that means that the engine is in time and at top dead center. So the cams are at top dead, this is at top dead, the crank, and so the whole engine looks to be good. Next up, we need to put the valve covers on, and then we're gonna have to start working on the valley here. So everything from the ITBs to the cooling system components that are in here we need to work on, and that way this motor is gonna start coming together really quickly, all right? So stay tuned, guys, for the rest of the videos on this build series. I'm really excited. Once we get this thing started, I think we're gonna see a lot of things moving quickly. So stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you soon.